They can do damage with key situational hitting and the ability to play long ball when needed. That sounds a lot like Jose Abreu of the White Sox, the first-year sensation from Cuba, among the American League leaders in home runs and RBIs. It's interleague play as the Giants and White Sox meet in Game 1 of the series next. And welcome to the south side of Chicago. Tonight from U.S. Cellular Field, the Giants back on the road. Interleague play, taking on the Chicago White Sox. And hi, everybody. Dave Fleming alongside Mike Krukow. Mike, Giants are undefeated in interleague play so far. But those games at home and interleague, there's a big difference when you play home and away. We got the DH. We got Jose Abreu. The Giants may have to bring the bats here to Chicago.
Well, they've got some bats to bring, and I think that's the one thing about this Giants team is they like small yards and they like hot weather, and they're going to get both here tonight. See how they do against Mr. Dank's great changeup. That'll be the key. But it'll also be the key with Mr. Kane. Matt Kane coming off a start, a little bit disappointing. And then he opened up the last outing with 3 straight walks. They would all score. That was the difference in the game. We'll look early on as to see what type of command he has with the fastball. That'll be his key. And we'll also watch the return of Santiago Casilla. The Giants beefed up their bullpen, and that's how they got beat the last 3 days. Hopefully that solves everything.
Well, we'll see. We're excited about this one. Giants and White Sox have not met in a long time, since 2008. Stay tuned. We'll take you to our Comcast Sportsnet studios for an update right after this.
Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or Barbecue Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or Barbecue Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
As the sun has set here on the south side in Chicago, we're at U.S. Cellular Field. It's really turned into a beautiful evening. Our game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 76 degrees. Humidity at 72%, so that's a little different than what we're used to back at AT&T Park in San Francisco. But it has cooled off big time since we first arrived here at the ballpark. And as we get ready for the start of this game, our Giants starting lineup brought to you by Coors Light. No Angel Pagan in the lineup here tonight. Gregor Blanco hitting leadoff. Michael Morse has gotten hot again. He's batting fifth at first base. And the DH for the Giants here in game one of this series in the American League ballpark is Buster Posey. Juan Perez getting a chance to play defensively in center field in place of Pagan. And that's the guy that the Giants will face, the left-hander John Danks.
Take a look at what he's done in 13 starts, 5-5, 4.17 ERA, but that doesn't really tell you how well he's been pitching of late. The 29-year-old left-hander is 2-1 with a 1.53 ERA in the last 4 starts, and the opponents are just hitting a .184 off him. When he's right, you're going to see a great fastball changeup combination, and that really is his bread and butter. Fastball is not really going to impress your velocity, high 80s, but he will throw a lot of cutters. He will break bats for right-handed hitters. He's got a curveball, a slider to go with the changeup, but when he's rocking and rolling, it's going to be a lot of fastballs and a lot of changeups. He's got one of the best changeups in the American League.
Well, and you said it, he's been hot lately, so he'll try to keep that roll going against this Giants team on the road for interleague play for the first time this year. And Gregor Blanco, who's got the batting average up over 250 for the year, leading off lefty against lefty. That first pitch fastball is high. The ball game gets started. Blanco again on the fastball, popped it up. And that one will be back out of reach. You have about normal foul territory here at U.S. Cellular Field. It's been a long time since the Giants have played a game in this ballpark.
Well, it's changed too. I mean, it's beautiful now. I mean, I always thought nice ballpark, but it really aesthetically, I think it's really a beautiful ballpark.
Giants were last here back in 2003. Blanco, another pop-up. And this one playable for the shortstop, Alexi Ramirez, out number 1.
Let's take a look at the defense that the White Sox will employ behind Danks, starting in the outfield for the White Sox. From left to right will be Diaza, Eaton, and Viciedo. Great arms across the board. All 3 guys got cannons. Ramirez, Gillespie on the left side of the infield, Beckham and Abreu on the right side, and Tyler Flowers will be in the squad putting down the signs.
So 1 out for Hunter Pence. Swinging the bat well, and he crushes one to deep left field. The Giants are on the board.
Yeah.
Little Hawk Harrelson.
Are we supposed to say that?
Yeah. Hunter Pence did not wait around. Jumped on the first one and launched it. His 10th home run of the year.
Well, it is a night built for home runs. It is live. This ballpark always livens up when the weather gets hot, and it was hot today. And the other thing too, as we watch the replay, down and in, right at the knees, middle in, and he golfed it right out of here. The infield here is fast. The gaps are fast.
So there's not a heck of a lot that it's in favor of the pitcher in this park.
And I don't think they care. But there is one thing that favors the pitcher tonight. That's Bill Miller, the plate umpire. He's got a good strike zone.
Posey, who's the DH in this first game of the 2-game series.
Take a look at what pure power meeting baseball looks like. And home run number 10 for Pence.
That one in the dirt. There's that changeup.
And a look as to where it went. You knew as soon as it left the bat, it was out of here. It was just a matter of how far up the bleachers it was going to go. Almost halfway. That's a bolt.
Posey Hit it hard, but foul. Well, Buster Posey numbers starting to look better. He has never had a huge amount of success as a DH, but it's only 8 games. So I don't know if he can take anything from that. 2-2. Spoil that one foul.
Well, that's a swing in a 2-strike situation that you have changeup on your mind. And that was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and Posey, all he could do is drop the bat head to fight it off. Emergency swing style.
Still 2-2. And another check swing foul. We got the changeup after the fastball. That is a pretty good 1-2 combo.
It really is. And, you know, you're not thinking about the curveball or the slider, and he will surprise you with that pitch. Especially if you're hitting off from the left side.
Struck out Posey with the change. Two down, first strikeout for John Danks, and up comes Pablo Sandoval. Pablo bat right-handed against the lefty. He'll be hitting right-handed both of these games. Chris Sale, their ace left-hander, scheduled to go tomorrow afternoon. Next home run, career home run number 100 for Pablo. That's a pretty good milestone.
Oh, yeah. He was there one night in San Diego when Chili Davis and Jeff Leonard both hit their 100th in the same game. I thought that was pretty cool.
Pablo to center field, and it's going to drop in front of Adam Eaton. So a 2-out single for Pablo. And the top of the first goes on.
Well, and it allows Michael Morse to take an at-bat against Danks out of the stretch. And as hot as he's been, that's significant.
Top 5 in the National League runs batted in. He's got those 13 home runs. The batting average up to .291. This park is made for Michael Morse. There's a changeup to start the at-bat. Strike one. It is a very good hitter's yard, and particularly a good home run park. Got under that one. Viciedo, the right fielder, is there. And the Giants are retired, but Hunter Pence wasted no time here in Chicago. First pitch he saw of the series, he takes Danks deep, and the Giants have a 1-0 lead. Of the first, Matt Cain will be on the mound, and this is the lineup that he'll face for the White Sox. Adam Eaton, a familiar name, former Diamondbacks center fielder, playing well in Chicago. Connor Gillespie, a former Giant, having his best big league year, and the guy in the middle who has just been a sensation his first year, Jose Abreu. Huge power for Abreu, a guy they love here on the South Side. Dunn, Ramirez, Viciedo, Deaza, Flowers, who's got some power at the bottom of the lineup. And they will be facing the Giants right-hander Matt Cain on the hill tonight.
Cain, the three-time All-Star, making start number 10 on the year. He's been hit with the injury bug a couple times this year, missing a couple starts with a cut index finger, then another couple starts with a right hamstring strain. When he's right, you're going to see a fastball that goes low 90s with great command. And this is something that was a little unusual. His last outing, his command suffered after two really good starts of where it was impeccable. But when he's right, he will pitch to four corners of the strike zone with that fastball, both grips, two-seam, four-seam. He'll throw a great changeup off the two-seam grip, curveball, he'll cut the ball, throw a slider, anything, anytime, go get him.
So facing Adam Eaton, a guy he's seen plenty in the past. Cain's first pitch, good high fastball for a called strike.
And you're going to see a good, healthy strike zone with Bill Miller, plate umpire. He's a low ball preference, but he will call the high strike, as he just showed. And that's significant for Cain, who has always enjoyed pitching high with the fastball.
Eaton's got great speed, so the Giants respect the bunt possibility and shoots that pitch foul. There is Bill Miller, Mike Everett at first, Chad Fairchild at second, Vic Carapazza, the umpire, at third. Bill Miller, Northern California native. Oh, 2. That high fastball, he got the pop up. Crawford got himself squared up to make the catch. So Brandon Crawford, part of this Giants defense, Mike.
Let's take a look at that defense. Starting in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Blanco, Perez, and Pence. That's your outfield. Crawford and Sandoval on the left side of the infield. Hicks and Morris on the right side. And Hector Sanchez will be in the squad tonight, doing the catching, putting down the signs, as Buster Posey is the DH.
Here's Gordon Beckham, the second baseman, right-handed hitter. He's got a little power. Takes a called strike. Another good Cain fastball. Well, already a better start. Remember that command problem that Mike was referencing. Cain's last outing, he walked the first 3 of the game, and they all came around to score. Very un-Cain-like. A slider there and miss with it. Fastball. Back out of play. You know, already we're seeing some of that you're talking about, pitching up, pitching down.
Well, that's his key. The fastball has always been his best pitch. He's got the green game signs on his fingernails tonight.
High fastball. He put it where he wanted it to go. Beckham got the bat on the ball.
Game signs from a catcher's perspective makes so much difference. Makes such a difference to be able to see. Well, you can see those. It just, and in night games when it can be dark down there, everybody sees it.
Strike 3 called.
And that's a changeup at 87. You'll see Bill Miller, the plate umpire, when he does his ring 'em up sign and calls a strike 3, it's like he's starting a lawnmower. Let's watch Bill Miller, the umpire. Change up outside corner. Yeah.
He's got some flair.
Yeah, he enjoys it.
Maybe not quite Tom Hallion.
But he pulls back with one arm and punches with the other.
That's it. Here's Connor Gillespie. And you may remember the name Connor Gillespie, who was drafted and came up with the Giants and has found a home in Chicago. He's played well, hitting .329.
Well, I always like to swing him. He's just not built for power. I mean, he doesn't have any home runs yet, but it's built for average. Very flat swing. Uses the whole field. Got a second chance here, and boy, has he jumped on it.
And young Connor Gillespie, by far his best big league season so far this year. 0-2. Up the middle, and another hit for Gillespie.
All right, time now for our Nissan keys to the game, and we're going to talk about Kane matching up with the big slugger Jose Abreu. That'll be one of the keys as to how he keeps him in the yard. And we're going to welcome back Santiago Casilla. Casilla off the disabled list to a bullpen that really is very happy that he's back. So those are our Nissan keys to the game.
Well, the Giants hope to have a chance to use Casilla with the lead late. They feel he is totally ready to go. So here's Abreu right on cue. What a performance for this guy. Just missing. Ball one.
And the book on Abreu is that if you make mistakes in the strike zone, he'll hurt you. He will chase. You make good location pitches to him, just like any other good hitter, you can get him out. But if you make a mistake in the strike zone, he makes you pay. And it doesn't matter what speed, what pitch.
The guy who's going to hit a lot of home runs. Chase one there. Good pitch. Strike one. Just a total unknown, and the White Sox showed a lot of faith in him, and in their scouts gave him a huge contract. Giants were interested. They scouted him heavily. And I think the White Sox are just thrilled. 19 home runs, 51 batted in. Well, that one hit well to right field. Pence, just enough room to make the catch. And Kane gets through the first. One hit, one left, 1-0 Giants.
Voting continues on MLB.com through July 3rd. The 2014 All-Star Game will be played on Tuesday, July 15th. The balloting updates will be announced Sunday night on ESPN and Monday night right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. And right now you take a look at your leaders. Miguel Cabrera with 2 million, Cano at 1.5, Jeter 1.8, Donaldson 1.9, and Trout, the leading vote getter in the American League, with 2.5 million votes. So cast your vote. Pretty good team right there, huh?
Yeah, I would say. Hector Sanchez, his first at bat. He was cooled off at the plate and just hits a little roller to short. One away. There's Brandon Crawford.
Hey, we want to say happy birthday to Doc Ock. Dr. Ken Akazuki, the Giants orthopedic surgeon, 48 years old today, and really one of the really gifted doctors and surgeons in, well, we think the country. He's fantastic. He's with the team this trip. So Doc Ock, happy birthday, Meat.
He's who's obviously not listening to us right now, but I guarantee you the phone will start to buzz.
Oh, he's good. He got me a couple times.
He really does a great job. I think this will be an interesting matchup here.
Yeah, I agree.
That one's low.
And, you know, I think it really unnerves a left-handed pitcher when he hears of a left-handed hitter who's got reputation against a left-handed pitcher. And that basically is what has happened this year with Brandon Crawford. He has let the league know that he can hit lefties.
That one on the inside and called a strike. Now that's pitch, that changeup. He does not throw a whole lot against lefties. It's his best pitch really against righties. A good take by Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, and Danks is in his 8th year. It's not like he doesn't know how to get people out. But for whatever reason, he just doesn't have the type of confidence with the changeup against the lefty that he does the righties. Righties, he'll tell guys what's coming. Care less. That's how much confidence he has in it, but not to the lefties so much.
3-2. And Crawford just chopped one toward the middle. Ramirez. Pretty good play there for out number 2.
Will the San Diego Padres take on your division-leading San Francisco Giants? Kickoff next homestand Monday, June 23rd through the 25th. All 3 games have dynamic deal options. Tickets start as low as $12 for the Monday and Tuesday night games. Go to sfgiants.com/dynamic deal to purchase as well as to see other upcoming dynamic deal games.
So here's Juan Perez. Tried to launch one on the first pitch fastball. Playing center field tonight in place of Angel Pagan, who has some back problems. So he may not play this series. We'll see.
Danks likes to work a nice quick pace. Both of these starters are going to feed off each other because of the pace they like to work.
Little thumb guard, I think, that Perez uses. Flew off in the middle of that swing.
All right, watch it go. Swing.
He needs it. Strikes out swinging. So Danks has 2 strikeouts. That's a 1-2-3 inning. On to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Giants. Nothing lead. Hawk Harrelson, our Geico quote of the game from last August. Okay, that ball hit deep. Maxwell at the wall. Jumps. What is it? You could put it? No. Safe? You could put it on the board? Or what? Anyway, he's coming around. And then you want to finish it off, Mike?
You can put it on the board? Yeah.
One of our favorites.
I mean, that's his home run call.
That's it.
It makes me laugh every time I hear it.
There's the Hawk. 30th year here on the South Side, and still having a lot of fun.
Yeah, he is a gift. He really is.
Big Adam Dunn, just right off the hands, a pop-up against the shift, and Crawford there. One away.
Either that or the ball's not carrying to right tonight.
Yeah, I think that could be part of it. There's the Hawk, who was a great player. I mean, he's a guy who now is known for his broadcasting and the home run calls. He was a great player in his day.
Yeah, he was. Lots of power. Great golfer, too. He does not lack confidence.
Nope.
And a lot of fun to be around. He and his partner, Steve Stone, do a great job.
And he's a little different than most in terms of his broadcast style. And we'll see him in spring training every year. Alexi Ramirez, who, like Abreu, is a Cuban native. He's been in the big leagues for much longer. He's having a great year. That in the count, 2-0.
Right now, Kane's got a little sling to his delivery.
That one ran right in on Ramirez. Crawford throws out his counterpart.
The little indicators with Matt Cain, when he's on with his fastball, he's going to hit the target. Now look at the target on the outside corner. This thing goes on the inside corner. Winds up being a great pitch. It runs right up the bat of Alexi Ramirez. But again, Cain not quite there with the arm stroke right now. Still looking for it.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind as this game goes along. Here's Dayan Viciedo. Big power from the right side. Cain's fastball misses.
Yeah, he put that right where he wanted to, though. That's you have to try and get in on Viciedo. I mean, you can't let him get extended. His power's middle away.
Been a quiet month for him. 2-0. He's got a big arm in the outfield and huge natural power. Bounces that to short. Busy inning for Crawford. Took his time, threw him out, and Cain's got a 1-2-3. It'll be Hicks and then the top of the order coming up, including Hunter Pence. 1-0 Giants.
Dubai NASCAR returns June 20th through 22nd for the Toyota Safe Mart 350, only at Sonoma Raceway.
Our first time here in this ballpark in a long while. And Brandon Hicks and the Giants coming up in the third against John Danks. 1-0. Hunter Pence hit a home run, second batter of the game. Beautiful scene. The home of the White Sox. White Sox will be in San Francisco for 2 games in August. So this is one of those matchups where the interleague opponents face each other home and road.
I like that. I wish it's that way every year.
Hicks, who has been slumping, takes one high.
And I got to tell you, the worst possible type of pitcher to face when you're slumping is a softball and lefty with a great changeup.
Well, Hicks hit that one not on the sweet spot. Piazza in left, out number 1.
Well, next homestand, you're not going to want to miss the All-Brandon weekend. The Cincinnati Reds are in town for a 4-game series, the 26th through the 9th of June. Saturday the 28th, 7:05 start. First 40,000 fans receive either a Brandon Belt or Brandon Crawford bobblehead, courtesy of PG&E. And on Sunday, at 1:05 start, kids 14 and under will receive Brandon Belt Crawford growth chart banner presented by Nestle Drumstick. That's all Brandon weekend at AT&T Park. Go to sfgiants.com for your tickets.
I think those two are excited about it.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot of fun with it.
Ball 1 to Gregor Blanco.
Brandon Hicks going, what about me?
Yeah, come on. Well, that kind of thing was planned out. I don't think anybody knew how much Brandon Hicks was going to be playing for the Giants.
Or if he was going to be playing for the Giants.
Yeah, that too. Blanco popped out to start the game. Fastball in.
It's amazing how when you get 2 guys that work fast, they will mirror each other with rhythm. And it's almost identical. It's just amazing how that works. That's why when you get a pitcher like Danks or Kane that likes to work quick and they go opposite somebody like Jorge De La Rosa who's extremely slow, it's hard to pitch off a guy like that.
So for both these guys, this is a good matchup.
Yeah, you bet. Their rhythms are almost the same.
Pence will be next. Blanco trying to reach base in front of the Giants home run hitter. Now, Gregor Blanco has done a nice job for this team after a very slow start. And they have needed him, especially with Brandon Belt on the DL this last month. Blanco got the late time. Now he's ready for the 3-2. Inside, ball 4.
Nice at bat.
Yep. So now Pence comes up. First pitch he saw in this game tonight. Took John Danks deep.
Yeah, just introduce yourself, get it in, fastball. Whoop, gone.
So 10th home run. Look at the batting average. And the on-base average, too. He's taken a lot of walks this year. Just playing very, very well.
Yeah, he's a player you look forward to watching play every day. And, you know, you can say that about his teammates, too. You know, you take for granted he goes out there every day, but the players don't. And they plug into his energy every day. It just never changes.
He hates it when he misses an inning, which has happened, what, only a couple times this year.
Just incredible drive and incredible discipline. Because we watch him, and he'll play a game. It'll be a 3-hour and 40-minute game, long game. Guys want to get off their legs. He'll come into the clubhouse, change his clothes, and go work out. his work in.
Change up, beauty. Well, we were down at the clubhouse today. Pence was sort of just being quiet, getting ready for the game. Asked him, so this is a good place to hit, huh? And those eyes, which are big all the time, they got even bigger. He said, oh, yeah.
Well, he put on a show of batting practice. I think a lot of guys did, but Hunter Pence was just flipping him out. Because when you see him swing in a game, I mean, he swings hard. Well, that's batting practice.
Yanks paying attention to Blanco over at first. Gregor's got 6 steals on the year, just in case he's thinking about going. Another good changeup. Pence was able to fight it off foul. Well, you got Buster Posey on deck. The Giants are making Danks work a little bit here in the third. Still concerned about Blanco. Beckham toward the middle at double play depth at second baseman. There's a big opening on the right side of the infield. Blanco runs and Pence fouled it back. And Pence, if you pitch him away, he will shoot one to right field, use that open hole.
I think he likes it. Belt high, middle away. I think that's the Hunter Pence happy zone. I think a lot of power hitters, they like to get extended.
Michael Moore certainly does. Now, Danks, you've been talking about his rhythm. And he has slowed that rhythm down with Blanco, the base stealer, at first base.
Yeah, that's really pretty much what you see, and that's pretty standard, but it's taught.
Pence, ground ball toward the hole. Ramirez can't field it cleanly, and he gets nobody. Well, I'm not sure he was going to get anybody anyway, but that took away any possibility. They're going to score that as an error, though.
Well, they should. He had time. He was really getting ready to load his back leg up, and if he gets that ball as quick as his hands are on the exchange and as strong as his arm is, I think they got a chance to get him.
A chance for sure.
Watch the right foot give just a little bit. Slides right here. And he can't come up with a handle.
So good opportunity here with speed on the base paths and Buster Posey at the plate. Danks is very concerned about Blanco.
Now, the one flaw in the White Sox is that their catchers don't throw well. And as a pitcher, you really have to do a job to keep your opposing runners close to the bag. Make sure they're stopped before you come home.
I'm not sure Posey agreed with that first pitch changeup called a strike. Posey struck out on a change his first time up. 2 on, 1 out. Buster shoots one foul down the right field line.
Just doesn't look like he's getting a lot of his lower body in the swings against Danks. He struck out in first at bat, but really just was reaching, had very little strength in his legs in the swing. And it's been pretty much the same thing here.
Well, it's not a real comfortable spot, down 0-2. That one is high, fastball.
point, every good changeup pitcher, they know when you're looking changeup. They sense it, and then they'll throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball like Danks just did, and it really looks like it's unhittable. It's so fast. It's because you have changeup on the brain.
Way inside. Might have been the cutter from Danks. Well, from 0-2 to 2-2. This is a big pitch for Danks here. Giants trying to add to their 1-0 lead. Posey shoots one into left field, base hit. Blanco being waved around by Flannery, and he'll score without a play. Posey knocks in the run. 2-0 Giants.
Nice two-strike at bat right there. And that's how you take advantage of an error. Down there, a little changeup. He was not fooled on. Look at the lower body. He gets a good balanced swing through this one. And that's a clean line drive. Expect a little more throw from Diaza, who's got a better arm than what he showed there.
Yeah. And that's good base running and third base coaching. This is one of those ballparks, Mike, I think almost like Philadelphia, where those outfielders in the corner just feel like they're right on top of you. And you mentioned they've got the good arms. It's not an easy park for a third base coach.
Well, you really have to lean on your advanced scout, because you're not familiar with the American League. Like you said, the last time the Giants were here was 2008. So when that happens, I mean, you better have good advanced scouting.
Well, Pablo had a base hit his first time up. Takes ball 2. Fastball away.
Really has been one of the Giants' aces in the hole for a long time. They spent a lot of money on scouts, and they get big time results because of it.
Well, we see it. I think it shines through in the playoffs.
It's amazing. We've seen a lot of it this year with the way that
that one is hit way up there to center field, but in the park. Adam Eaton, out number 2.
See the extreme defenses that the Giants will employ. And that's all collecting data. It's all part out of your scouting department.
So 2 on, 2 out, a run in, and Michael Morse will try to make it a real big inning.
And if there's one thing that Giants general manager Brian Sabean believes in, it's scouting. And you would expect that from a former scout, which is what Sabean started as.
Morse got jammed and lined out to third. So Gillespie there to make the catch, and that's it. The Giants are retired. But Posey knocks in a run. Middle of the third here in Chicago. The Giants have a 2-0 lead.
1970, the first time in Major League history that two players with 500 career home runs both hit a home run in the same game. And it happened when Willie Mays hit number 615 and Ernie Banks hit number 504.
Well, that's a pretty good moment.
Yeah.
Great Giants and Chicago connection. We'll be back here in Chicago over at Wrigley on the north side later in the year. 2 trips to Chicago, that's not a bad thing.
No, that's a good thing. However, 2 days in Chicago is not enough.
Yeah, this is a very quick trip. It's good for the cholesterol, though. Get out of town a little quicker. De Aza against Kane in the last of the third. 2-0 Giants ahead. Pence a home run. Posey a base hit. Kane's been sharp. De Aza. I don't know if that was De Aza or a fan who didn't like that contact. One away. There's our partner, John Miller. He'll come over for the middle 3 innings. Yeah. Croup, you okay with John coming over?
Oh, yeah. The big kahuna.
He's getting those promos out of the way before I am on the radio side.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yep. He's a good partner.
You got to pick up your partner when he's battling the crud.
Yeah. Just hoping that you and John avoid it.
Yeah, we're with you on that, partner.
Tyler Flowers, the catcher, got off to a good start this year. The numbers have cooled off quite a bit. And the strikeouts are huge. Good tight slider. That one wasn't quite as sharp, but it worked.
You know, a backup slider could be a great pitch.
Yeah.
And that's what that was. I mean, it didn't do anything, but he expected it to do something, and that's half the battle.
Maybe, though, don't throw that pitch again. That is a good one. Struck him out swinging.
Well, time to log on to csnbayarea.com and decide the player of the game. Your vote counts. Winner will be revealed during Giants postgame live. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats and more. Giants Endgame Live on csnbayarea.com. Log on right now and vote.
Vote, vote, vote. 2 down. Kane looking for a 1-2-3 inning. He is retired 6 in a row. Try to get through Adam Eaton, who pulls the first pitch right through the right side. 2-out single for Eaton. Well, that means Kane has to pitch from the stretch, and he has to pay attention to the speed of the White Sox leadoff man. I was surprised when the Diamondbacks traded him.
I blew my mind. And I was glad to see him get out of the National League West. Good player. And he's going to be a very good player. The only thing he doesn't really do is steal bases.
Yeah, which is strange because he's got a lot of speed. 2 outs for Beckham. Took a good rip, and that one got a piece of Hector Sanchez, which is inevitable when he's got the gear on.
Oh, he takes a beat.
He does. That one hurt.
Right off the shoulder. Just right on the shoulder tip. Usually when you hit like that, you know you're leading off next inning.
Yeah, guess who's leading off next inning?
Hector Sanchez. You always wonder how many at-bats are affected by little dings like that on a catcher.
I think a lot of them.
Oh, you bet. Say a catcher has to deal with that at least 50, 60 at-bats a year, maybe more. Nagging little biters or foul ball, edge of the forearm, the shoulder, toe, foot, whatever. I mean, they just take a beat.
Fastball, strike 2. Gordon Beckham, he was drafted by the White Sox just a couple spots after Buster Posey. They were both considered huge prospects that year in the first round. Of course, the Giants picked Posey. He's been an MVP. He's won 2 World Series.
Beckham got to the big leagues before Posey.
He did. They both played against each other in college baseball. And they're still kind of waiting for the breakout for Gordon Beckham. He's been a good player. Hard to live up to the standard, though, of the guy on the right. If you're going to be compared to him, that's tough.
Well, yeah, you lead the league in hitting. You're part of 2 World Championships and Rookie of the Year. He's got some pretty nice accolades.
There goes Eaton. Sanchez's throw, and just a little bit late. There's a steal by Adam Eaton.
Well, that's a nice jump right there. High leg kick from Kane. I think he was concentrating more on the hitter than he was the runner. And Eaton steals this one easy.
Now, by big league standards, that is not a very close play. Seems like a close play. 1-2 to Beckham. Base hit could get the Sox their first run. Way outside.
The curveball has always been kind of a temperamental pitch for Kane. There are some nights it's unhittable. Other nights he just doesn't feel like it's that good. And he shies away from it. But he's got other things he can do. He'll ride a changeup. He'll ride a cutter. He'll ride a fastball as good as anybody in the National League West.
3-2. Beckham is battling with Kane. You got Connor Gillespie on deck. Gillespie already has a hit in this one. Way up there, out of play. Well, this will be what, the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up?
Yeah, that's a good battle going on right now.
We got a runner in scoring position after the 2-out single by Eaton and then the steal. Another 3-2 pitch on the way from Kane. Another pop-up foul. This time Morse coming over, but just beyond his reach. Up over the dugout. Well, the wind can swirl in this park, so sometimes it's hard to predict whether a ball like that would get pushed back toward the field or into the stands. The flags, it's not a whole lot of wind up there tonight. But it's funny, where we sit, one inning we'll feel a real breeze coming right in our face. Right now, we feel absolutely nothing. Beckham to left field, and well hit. And that ties the game. Nine-pitch at bat. And a 2-run homer for Gordon Beckham.
And this is all with 2 quick outs to start the inning. You get into a 9-pitch war. This is the ultimate pitch for a hitter. Knocking one out of the park. And a bat does not get any better than that. And for Matt Kane, that hurts.
That was a heck of an at bat. 5th home run of the year. And a first pitch curve. Ball 1. And Bruce Bochy knows it hurts. It's really the challenge against this White Sox team in this ballpark, trying to keep the ball in the yard. Gillespie, foul ball.
See, I think it's an advantage for a team that plays in a small ballpark to play a team that plays in a large ballpark, that have a team like the Giants come in and then get here because it's a small yard. Very easy for the Giants to get a little home run happy, to get long with their swings, to try and hit home runs. White Sox don't. They just put good swings on it. They hit home runs, they hit home runs. But Giants hitters don't have that luxury to have that feeling at their home ballpark, because it's not a home run hitter's park, it's a pitcher's park.
Gillespie pops this one up. Should be playable. It's Pablo. Inning is over. John will come over and join Mike here on the television side. 2-run homer ties the game. On to the 4th in Chicago.
We are tied up 2 apiece at the top of the 4th inning. Joining us now in the booth, John Miller. Welcome, Kahuna.
I was really enjoying the game, and all of a sudden, Gordon Beckham. It was quite an at-bat by Beckham, and Kane could not put him away. And we also got a good illustration of how live this yard can be. It's one of the premier home run ballparks in the American League for sure. That being said, I think the Giants have a lineup that fits well in this kind of a ballpark. Each team has hit a home run, and Hector Sanchez takes a called strike from John Danks. Oh, 2.
Hector Sanchez is not having any fun against that changeup from Danks. He is not picking it up. Just about the time you start thinking changeup, Danks will zip 90 right by you. It'll look like the bullet trains going through your living room.
And there's that changeup. 1 away. Now Brandon Crawford. Crawford grounded out to short his first time. 3 strikeouts for Danks. Giants got a run in the first on a Hunter Pence home run, and a run in the third on an RBI single by Buster Posey. The White Sox got 2 on 1 swing of Gordon Beckham's bat. Did he swing? No, says third base umpire Vic Carapazza. Danks had a very high stress 3rd inning, 26 pitches in the inning. And there's a ball off the outside. It's 2-0.
Well, and I think it's important that you get that pitcher back in that stretch early the next inning after he does have a stress inning.
Got the low strike, 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 2-1. Juan Perez on deck. 1 out, nobody on for the Giants here in the 4th. Strike 2 call. 2-2 the count. Randy Crawford has been hitting the ball well lately. He's getting a lot of RBIs. Right past Danks, but right there, Ramirez. One shortstop throws out the other.
Yeah, Brandon Crawford throwing down the first base line going, why is he playing me there? What is up with that?
Hit that ball right up the middle, and right there was Ramirez.
You can see how Ramirez is cheating towards the bag, and he takes like 2 little shuffle steps left, and he's right there. So credit your advanced scout and your defensive coach.
And it's 0-1 to Juan Perez, who struck out his first time. And Perez, that at bat did not go very well. Strike 2. 2 down, bases empty. Danks rubs up the new ball. Giants in Chicago. Very briefly, a day game tomorrow. 11:10 a.m. first pitch Pacific time, and then they will come back to Chicago. They leave right after tomorrow's game, and they'll come back in August and play on the other side of town against the Chicago Cubs. Strike 3 call. Perez has struck out twice, and that's a quick, quiet inning for Danks. Jose Abreu coming up against Kane.
By authority of the San Francisco Giants, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
2-2, the Giants and the White Sox tied up as we go to the last of the 4th inning. And here's the Togo big play, the Togo's way, April 25th, 2014, and that was Jose Abreu with the bases loaded, last of the night, down by a run, a grand slam. And that was the game ender, the walk-off grand slam for the Cuban emigre, and certainly a curtain call, as you might expect. One of his 19 home runs for the White Sox here in the first half of the season. He hit a fly ball deep to right his first time tonight, and that's called a strike.
Well, when you watch him swing, he really gets the bat in the strike zone early, and he keeps it in the strike zone a long time. Hits the ball everywhere. Great opposite field approach, and the ball jumps off his wood. Absolutely jumps off the barrelhead.
Base hit to left. Abreu with his first hit of the night. Abreu with 19 homers, but only a .265 average at game time.
Try to pitch him in. Watch the elbows bend through the swing. I mean, that's what hitters do. I mean, big guys, you're going to get tested inside, and if you don't have that type of approach where you can bend arm your approach and barrel at the inside pitch, you do not apply for the job. It's another example of why this guy is a good hitter.
0-1 to Adam Dunn. Abreu, 6 feet 3 inches tall. Looks like a little guy compared to Adam Dunn. Dunn is huge. Abreu hit .360 in the World Baseball Classic just last year for Cuba. Had 6 homers during the tournament, including a grand slam back then. Giants with a big shift on for Dunn, as quickly the count has gone to 0-2. Pablo Sandoval is at shortstop. Crawford's over on the right side, and so is Brandon Hicks. Dunn popped out to the shortstop, but on the right side of the infield. His first time. 0-2.
He pancaked that thing right out of the strike zone. That was a good pitch. That was caught poorly. And when you take the pitch and the momentum of the pitch down, you're not going to get it.
Two and 2. Adam Dunn, you know, he went to the Academy Awards back in, when was that, February, March?
I think it's March.
He was an investor in a movie that was up for an award.
Look at it.
Right off the mask of Hector Sanchez. That knocked him over.
Wow. He's got to shake out the stars right now. That rocked him. And he's about as tough as any catcher in this league. For him to stay down like this, you know he just had his bell rung. Watch the helmet. Put him right back on his heels. You have that helmet on and you get hit on the top like that. As you saw Buster Posey head down to get his gear. When you get hit like that, it's loud. And this has been happening a lot. We saw it happen over the weekend with Buster Posey. This is the one that really rung Buster's bell and came in after the game, and he had to leave the game. He was having headaches immediately. Went in and got checked out, and after the game he felt better. The headaches they were gone. But it's tough. It's the scary part of being a catcher.
And they really are checking for any signs of possible concussion. And there's a protocol that all teams have been mandated to follow. The umpires are involved in, the trainers, the managers. Buster Posey's got the catcher's glove just in case. He's the DH tonight. If he would have to enter the game as a catcher, the Giants would lose the DH and the pitchers would enter the batting order for the rest of the night. Hector, for now, seems to be okay. Buster did finish the inning on Sunday, but then it was decided for precautionary reasons he wanted to have a closer look, and he was taken out of the game when the inning was over. Adam Dunn with a count of 2-2. Strike 3 call.
Backdoor curveball. Threw a lot of really good curveballs and off-speed stuff in this at bat. It's done. And he finally locks him up.
Third strikeout for Matt Cain. So 1 out, Abreu at first. And here is Alexi Ramirez. Bruce Boccia talking to him before the game about Buster Posey. And he said, well, the Giants felt it was very big when Buster showed up at the ballpark yesterday morning before they went over to the airport and reported no ill effects. He didn't have a headache, no signs that the thing was being revisited on him. And Bochy also said that they know that it could still flare up a couple of days from now. That's just the nature of it. But just the fact that Buster was feeling normal, just absolutely fine yesterday, and could fly to Chicago was big news. Shallow left. Blanco got a late break, and nobody catches it. Blanco started moving toward the corner and then belatedly started coming in on that ball. And he never did get there.
Yeah, plus it's hard to see right now. It's dusk. Lights really haven't taken effect. I don't know how well Blanco saw this thing off the crack of the bat. In fact, he broke back initially, and now he has to regroup, redirect, and no chance to get it. So a bad first step for Blanco, and just a little classic Texas leaguer. And just like that, the White Sox have 2 runners on with 1 out.
Throw to second, just a little bit late. Abreu really had to hurry. Viciedo, left field. Blanco, no. And the bases are loaded.
And there's the break again. Not seeing the ball at the bat, and that's very common for this time of night. I think the guys who are most disadvantaged are the outfielders. You always expect more than what you get. You always anticipate that ball's going to be over your head. I mean, that's your first instinct is to not have that ball go over your head. Now all of a sudden you realize that that ball's not going to even get to you. You got to redirect and try and get it. Until the lights take effect and it gets darker, it's tough for outfielders.
So now De Asa, he flied out deep to left his first time, and he pops it up. Foul ground, side of ball. So one pitch, and De Asa, who's having a very bad first half, is retired, and there's some booing. He came into the game hitting only 200.
You can see the reaction. Not happy.
Plate umpire Bill Miller signaling that the infield fly would be in effect if that ball ended up being a fair ball. So a big out, 2 down, and here is Tyler Flowers, who struck out his first time. Bases loaded for the White Sox. 3 singles in the inning. Ball 1.
Flowers not a good breaking ball hitter. I mean, he strikes out a lot. His first at bat tonight was strikeout number 80 on the year in 185 at bats. He's a fastball hitter, and that's what he sits on. Not a good breaking ball hitter.
He was struck out well over 40% of his official at bats, which is rather astonishing. Adam Dunn has struck out a smaller percentage of the time than Flowers. But he's ahead of the count here, 2-0. With the bases loaded, 2 down. Foul tip, and that one got a piece of Bill Miller, the plate umpire, flexing his right hand. 2-2 the score here in the 4th inning. Abreu led off the inning with a single to left. Then with one out, Ramirez hit the pop-up that looked like an out, but Blanco apparently could not see it. Got a late break and it fell. And Viciedo singled in front of him. Another late break on that one. Just off the outside. Now it's 3-1. Abreu at third, Ramirez at second, and Viciedo at first with 2 down. So big pitch here for Matt Cain in a tight spot. And they got him chasing that sinking fastball, 92 miles an hour with all kinds of movement.
I mean, that's big time sink. This thing just drops completely out of the strike zone. It looked like a left-handed slider.
Full count, and the runners will be ready to take off with this one. There they go. And he walked it. And that time the movement worked against him. Abreu scores the go-ahead run for the White Sox on the walk.
That's going to bring out Dave Righetti. A lot of pitches in this inning. Now a lot of frustration with the bases loaded walk. So Righetti going to go out, pour a little water on him, calm him down.
That is the first walk allowed by Matt Cain in this game. And now Adam Eaton, pesky leadoff man, the former Arizona Diamondback, who started the 2-run third inning rally with a single. So now Ramirez moves over to third with Viciedo at second and Flowers at first. 3-2, the White Sox lead. Curves him for a strike. At 78 miles an hour. Foul off the left field line. And well back out of play. So quickly, Cain ahead of Adam Eaton, 0-2. Giants here in Chicago for just a couple of days. White Sox will come to San Francisco for 2 days. In the middle of the week in mid-August. The week before the Giants return to Chicago and face the Cubs. 0-2 pitch. And he lays off the high fastball.
One thing, if you're going to be a good leadoff hitter at the big league level, you cannot be afraid of the 2-strike count. You just can't. And I think this is the one strength that Eaton had the day he walked into the big leagues. And just he's cocky, and when it really shows up in a 2-strike situation, it doesn't bother him at all.
Softly hit. Bare hand pickup. Not in time, and it goes away and into the crowd. So Ramirez scores, and as the ball leaves the field of play, Viciedo scores right behind him. And not only was Eaton not afraid on that 2-strike count, he hit it so softly that it turns into a mini catastrophe for the Giants.
And that's where speed really can affect the play. I mean, we talked about how Eaton is a good 2-strike hitter. He puts the ball in play. And when you don't hit the ball well like that, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot on it. And that means it's going to be a tough play for any infield on the left side of the infield to get Eaton because of his speed. He just doesn't give me any time. Had him at 4 flat. And that was a pretty big backswing for a leadoff hitter. But that was flying. When you're coming in, it was a do-or-die play with a barehander for Crawford. He couldn't come up with it. Perhaps hurried the play too errantly, and now the White Sox have a chance to really stretch it out.
So it's a single run batted in for Eaton, and then error charged to Brandon Crawford with a wide throw, allowing Viciedo to also score and Flowers to go to third and Eaton to end up in second. And 3 runs have scored in the inning. It's 5-2 White Sox, and the inning is still going, and Gordon Beckham hit a home run his last time up, and here he comes again an inning later. From the windup now. Ball, no strikes.
And I think that is a bit telling as to Matt Cain thrown out of the windup. It's your decision as to whether or not you want to throw from the stretch of the windup if you have runners at second, third, or bases loaded, or runner at third. You know you're going to give that runner a better lead, but if you feel better, if you have more command out of the windup, or you feel more confidence, go with it.
1-1. That was the 25th pitch thrown this inning by Matt Cain. Blew the fastball right by him, and it's 1-2. Beckham got the count to 3-2 in the third inning.
Now that was the 9th pitch of the at-bat, and that's what the bone crush was on the at-bat. Not to mention, of course, he went out of the ballpark, but it was a pretty big battle. But just come up with a home run in that situation, unusual, very impressive.
2-2. Here it comes. Cain had the bases loaded and 2 down after he retired DeAsa. And then the White Sox got all 3 of those runners home with a walk. That was the first run. And then a very poorly hit ground ball to shortstop. Poorly hit by a very fast runner for an infield hit plus a throwing error. So they haven't done a whole lot to get those 3 runs. That is foul.
And here these two go at it again.
And that is not like that first at bat. He started fouling off pitches. Cain just couldn't put him away. And finally, Beckham put one into the bleachers. Hit hard, Pence, and the inning is over. 8 men bat in the inning, 3 score. And the Giants have some catching up to do. 5-2 Chicago.
package will include a ticket to see the Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds and a Giants-themed pop bobblehead of Woody from Disney Pixar's Toy Story films. Following the conclusion of the game, Pixar Day, a special event, ticket holders will be invited down to the field to watch Disney Pixar's Toy Story. Partial proceeds from every Pixar Day ticket sold benefit the Jack and JT Snow Scientific Research Foundation. Go to sfgiants.com/special events.
Ball 1 to Brandon Hicks. The Giants have some catching up to do, trailing 5-2. Things really got out of hand there in that 4th inning. And there's that changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hicks hit a fly ball to left his first time. Gregor Blanco is on deck. The leadoff man. 3 infielders playing to the left of second. They've got the shift on for him. Now, if you're a hitter, does that bug you? Like they're trying to rob you of hits, or you take that as a sign of respect?
Well, I think it goes both ways. I mean, I think number one, you think it's kind of cool that they're doing it to you just because you got a little reputation. But all that ends if you hit into it and lose a base hit. Then the novelty wears off and you're ticked off.
So if he crushes one right to Alexi Ramirez, it's like, that's just not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
And he gets a walk.
All right, it's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag CSNBA fan photo, name, whole name, and hometown for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Here's Allie Hinkle from Red Bluff, California, at the game for her nephew's 8th birthday. Die-hard fans. Well, good picture.
The White Sox bench coach, the bench coach for manager Robin Ventura, is Mark Parent, former Major League catcher, and he lives up in that part of the country. Blanco in the right center. There is Viciado. Plenty of room. Blanco promptly retired. He is 0 for 2. He walked back in the 3rd and scored a run. So 1 away here in the 5th inning, and Hunter Pence, who hit a long home run to left center his first time, and then reached on an error by Ramirez in the 3rd coming up. And the Giants very concerned about Hector Sanchez when he got back in the dugout. Dave Greshner, the Giants training staff, he's the head trainer. Again with Hector, trying to see if he's okay. Pence, not this time. This will stay in the yard. Deasa. Pence is gone on 1 pitch. 2 down.
See Dave Greshner talking over with Hector Sanchez, and if you have a discussion with Dave Greshner, I mean, he looks right through you, and he's looking at your eyes, he's looking at how you react to questions. I mean, it's a very intense discussion when Dave Greshner senses you've had your bell rung as a catcher.
Buster Posey now, 2 down, runner at first. Buster knocked in a run with a single his last time. A line drive, base hit to left. He is 1 for 2 against Danks. A ball and a strike, and it's a big question, a lot riding on whether Hector can stay in the game or not, because if he needs to leave the game, Buster Posey becomes the catcher, but the Giants will be left without a designated hitter in the American League ballpark for the rest of the game. 2-1. And Hector, he knows that. There's no way Hector wants to tell him anything or do anything that causes the Giants to say, wait, we got to get him out.
Yeah, but if your ears are ringing, though, I mean, it's you can't play.
It's just one game. That is out of play on the first base side. 2-2 to Buster Posey. And he is the designated hitter tonight. Bruce Bochy giving Buster the day off yesterday. Buster scheduled to catch tomorrow. Then Thursday's a day off. looking this as an opportunity to give Buster some rest and a few guys. High pop up. Left center there is De Asa. And the Giants are going to lead off walk. Nothing more. 5-2 White Sox. Gillespie and then Abreu coming up.
A moment of silence to honor Tony Gwynn. Please move your hats and join the White Sox as we observe a moment of silence to honor Tony Gwynn.
Bruce Bochy and Tim Flannery, both former teammates of Tony Gwynn with the Padres. Of course, Bochy also a coach for the Padres with Tony Gwynn there. And then Bruce Bochy became Tony Gwynn's manager in the last several years of Gwynn's brilliant Hall of Fame career. And yesterday, the Giants were heading out to the airport. Word was getting out that Tony Gwynn had passed away. A very sad day, sad flight to Chicago. There's a base hit for Connor Gillespie to left field to lead off for the White Sox. In San Diego, they have the Tony Gwynn statue out in the park, and people started congregating out there. And the Tony Gwynn statue, Mr. Padre.
Well, he really was one of the nicest people I've ever met, and you know, every time you pitched against him, it was a personal thing. I mean, you felt that when he got in the batter's box. And I pitched against him many, many times, and I have nothing but the ultimate respect for him as a player and as a man.
Swinging strike by Abreu.
It's just sad, even though, I mean, he had battled diabetes, he had cancer, and he really fought it hard at a lot of operations to try and get the cancer out of his mouth, his jaw, and it was just too much for him, and it's just a sad day.
54 years old. And a very sad day all around baseball. Tony Gwynn touched a lot of people in the game and out of the game. So I worked an opening day game with Tony Gwynn several years ago. It was his first telecast for ESPN after he had retired. And he was so dedicated and so thoroughly prepared for that game. As the ball gets by Sanchez and Gillespie moves over to second. But I told Tony, I said, you were the greatest interview in the game. Everybody sought you out because you were always accessible. You always had an opinion, and a thoughtful opinion, about whatever topic anybody wanted to discuss with you. just be that Tony Gwynn on the air. You can be prepared and this and that, but just don't let it turn you into somebody besides who you are. And that ball to Hicks as Abreu came able to get in on him, and just a little soft pop-up before the first out of the inning. But you know, working with Tony Gwynn, because Tony was so polite and so respectful of somebody else's territory, I felt that whole game that he was trying to pull back and just not step on my toes. And I kept saying, Tony, just be yourself. We want to hear what you have to say about the game.
And one thing about him, you could, conversation, somebody come in the room and just start gushing, just praise for Tony, and he didn't like that. He didn't want to. He wanted to just be normal. He just wanted to be one of the guys, and he wanted to talk ball, which you could engage in conversation with, and he would talk for hours on baseball, about hitting, about situations, about pitchers, about at bats that we'd had against each other 20 years ago. It was fun. But if you came in there saying, "Oh, Tony, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread," that was it. You didn't want to hear that.
A ball and a strike.
In San Diego, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
There were times where Padres ambassadors would go out and speak to school kids and sporting organizations, recreational groups, and they say, "Who's your favorite Padre?" And Tony Gwynn was not just everybody's favorite Padre. Even long after he retired, he was still everybody's favorite Padre. And there were times where things were not going well in San Diego, where he was the only Padre people would mention or could mention. We know you love Tony Gwynn. Who's your second place? Who's your second best Padre player? And there were times where they couldn't get an answer to that one. Tony Gwynn, and he had so many chances to go somewhere else and make a lot more money than he did. But he was committed to San Diego. He said, "This is where I want to be. This is what makes me happy to be here." Just off the inside corner, apparently.
He wanted that one. You know, and Dunn, I mean, he really doesn't go out of the strike zone, and you'll see him rung up on a lot of quarter pitches, and it almost happens again here, just a wee bit inside.
2-2. Adam Dunn, who's popped up to short and been called out on strikes. Runner at second. And foul into the Giants dugout. Into and out of. 2-2. Alexi Ramirez on deck. Just a little bit low. 3-2.
Watch right at the base of the strike zone. And Dunn does not help you. And he'll eyeball you. He does not like to go out what he thinks is out of his strike zone. He is very stubborn that way.
He has always drawn a lot of walks. Three-2. That's a base hit, right center field. And he'll pick up an RBI on this one. Gillespie around to score. 6-2 White Sox.
Yeah, they didn't want to walk him. He goes after him and challenges a belt high fastball. I mean, that's T-ball location. Dunn capitalizes. I mean, you make a pitch like that, I guess you're happy that it doesn't go out of the ballpark.
Alexi Ramirez now, who has grounded out to short, and he hit the pop-up that turned out to be a big play. Nobody caught it. And apparently Gregor Blanco just couldn't see it for a good long while out left field. The ball that looked like an out off the bat ended up being a hit, and that really helped fuel that 3-run 4th inning. Yusmeiro Petit now warming up in the Giants bullpen.
Well, next pitch for Kane's going to be number 85, and a lot of his night has been out of the stretch since the 3rd inning. Last 3 innings have been very stressful.
Perez gets there. Here's hit that one solidly. 2 down, back to first. Adam Dunn. Well, 85 pitches for the game, and 63 of them have been in these last 3 innings that we're talking about. Let's see. That's a very large workload in such a short time. Here is Viciedo, who has grounded a short and single. 6-2, the White Sox are leading, and that's a called strike. 25,278 the paid crowd here at the new Comiskey Park, or as they now call it, U.S. Cellular Field. Which they built right across the street for the old Comiskey. That ball is really launched way back there. High into the bleachers. 8-2 White Sox. Dave Righetti out to the mound to talk to Kane.
Take a look at the changeup that just sort of rolls on the middle end part of the plate, about thigh high. And Viciedo is very, very strong. I'm not sure how much he got of that, but certainly enough to get it out of here in a big way. Say you got about 98% of it. Just throw that out there.
It'd be really something if he'd gotten all of it.
Yeah, could have got another couple rows.
So 3 more runs for the White Sox here. In the last 3 innings, they've scored all 8 of their runs. 2 in the 3rd, and a home run by Beckham. 3 in the 4th, and 3 more here in the 5th. The last 2 on the Viciedo home run. 8-2. And a 2 now to Deaso. Morris drops it, picks it up, and gets the put out nonetheless. 8-2, White Sox after 5. As we remember, Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest hitters in the history of the game, gone at 54. the 6th inning, but suddenly they're trailing 8-2 to the White Sox. Started to turn into a blowout in these last couple of innings. Pablo Sandoval, who singled to center his first time, flied out to center in the 3rd inning, takes ball 1. Matt Cain roughed up a couple of home runs in the 5 innings. Cain, for the season now, has allowed 11 home runs in 63 and 2/3 innings. The ball and a strike to Pablo. Giants scored first. Hunter Pence homer in the 1st, and then Buster Posey knocked in a run in the 3rd. They had a 2-0 lead, but Beckham had the 2-out, 2-run homer in the 3rd to tie the game. It's been all White Sox ever since. John Danks inside, and the count is 2-1. Change up. Pablo drills it into center field. And he's 2 for 3. They'll spend the first weekend of the summer at the ballpark as the Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds. There'll be a lot of special events during the series, including LGBT night on the 26th, Garlic Fest on the 27th, and Pixar Day on Sunday the 29th. And then Friday the 27th is the Orange Friday kickoff of the All Brandon weekend. Brandon's bobblehead giveaway on Saturday, presented by PG&E. Morris with a soaring pop-up. And caught by Abreu. And Morris is 0 for 3. 1 away. Also, the Brandon's growth chart banner, courtesy of Nestle Drumstick, on Sunday the 29th for the kids 14 and under. Check it out at sfgiants.com. Giants home right after this road trip next week. 1 out. Here is Hector Sanchez. Pablo at first. Giants have the Padres in for 3 starting next Monday. And then the Reds come in Thursday the 26th for 4. After which the Cardinals come in for 3. Into center field. Going back is Eaton. And he's got room on the warning track. Hit well by Hector, but a long out.
It's an important inning right now. The Giants have to let the White Sox know they're out there. You're down 6 runs. It's a 6th inning. I mean, get a leadoff hitter on base. You've got to do something with it. This is a ballpark built for offense. It's got carry from line to line. It's got a fast infield. It's got fast gaps in the outfield. There really isn't much that favors the pitcher in this place. It does not look like the Giants have got into the comfort zone here against Danks. They just have not been able to get a lot of great swings off against him.
Brandon Crawford has grounded a short twice. On 1. 71 miles an hour that last one. Danks coming back from the Tommy John surgery. Things did not go well last year. That's a base hit to right for Crawford. Pablo will go to second and stop. DiCieto up with it. 2 men on for the Giants with Juan Perez. And Perez has really been just totally baffled by Danks in each of his at-bats.
He has really kept him off balance. I mean, hitting's timing, pitching is upsetting timing. And right now, Perez just has not been able to time any kind of a swing against Danks. And this is when you have to get short. You got to go up there with a plan. I'm going to think right field. I'm going to get short. I'm not going to get long. I'm not going to get greedy. Get as compact as you can. Think one side of the field.
Giants need base runners, down by 6 runs here in the 6th inning. 2 men on right now. 1 ball and no strikes. Perez struck out swinging in the 2nd, looking in the 4th. Sandoval at second and Crawford at first. Just a high lazy fly out into left center, and Eaton. 2 men left for the Giants. 8-2 Chicago as we go to the last of the 6th.
Insurance brokers offering business and personal insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. Visit us at hefins.com and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
The score here in Chicago from the south side. And it's right now all White Sox. They lead 8-2 as we go to the last of the 6th inning. And the Giants make a change. Yusmeiro Petit on in relief of Matt Cain. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Petit for the year. Matt Cain. Cain's first couple innings looked like it was going to be a real strong night for him. In fact, right up till about 2 down in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, you're right. I just don't think he had the same type of rhythm that he had 2 starts ago. These last 2 starts, he's really struggled with being able to repeat that arm slot.
Tyler Flowers, who has struck out and drawn a bases-loaded walk. Off the end of the bat. Hicks started back into the outfield, now comes back onto the infield to make the catch. 1 away, and Adam Eaton, the leadoff man, coming up. Came through those first 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, 22 pitches, quickly got the first 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and then Adam Eaton hit a single. And Beckham got into a big duel with him, and in the 9th pitch, hit a 2-run homer. And nothing was the same for Cain after that. They got 3 in the 4th inning and 3 more in the 5th. Eaton 2 for 3. 1 ball and no strikes. Tomorrow, early game, Pacific time, and 11:10 start. Quite a matchup. Tim Hudson leading the National League in earned run average up against Chris Sale, who's got a 1.97 ERA over here in the American League. Giants pregame live comes on at 10:30 tomorrow morning prior to the Comcast Bay Area telecast. Tanaka of the Yankees officially leads the American League in earned run average. Sale, who was shut down for a little while, doesn't have enough innings to qualify for the league leaders. And Tanaka, by the way, is pitching tonight for the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And leading 3-1 going to the 9th inning over the Toronto Blue Jays. He's 10-1.
He's amazing. 1 loss in 2 years.
Here is Blanco. And there's out number 2. Yeah, he was 24-0 last year in the Japanese leagues. And nobody really expected anything close to that. But if he wins tonight, he'll be 11-1 in the first half. Not even finished with the first half yet. In Major League Baseball in the big city. Pretty good. Gordon Beckham now, who is 1 for 3. Beckham, who was a first-round draft choice several years ago. And that's called strike. Very strong defensive second baseman. And he's hitting pretty well. He's having his best year at the bat this year. 284 average at the moment. Nice curveball. And it's 0-2. Dave Fleming over on radio side will make the switch back to the TV booth. In the 7th. Connor Gillespie would be next. And that's the inning. Dave will be back with Mike Krukow. We head to the 7th. The Giants trailing 8-2.
Toyota dealer. Through 6 innings, Giants 2 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. The White Sox 8 runs on 10 hits, 1 error. Matt Cain 8 runs, 7 of which were earned in 91 pitches. A lot of time out of the stretch after the 3rd inning. Danks has been cruising, just a couple of runs. Hunter Pitts, a solo shot, got us started. Dayan Viciedo hitting 2 for 3 with a 2-run shot. That was the big blow, and that is where we are. That's our Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It is 8-2 Sox, top of the 7th. Once again, here's Dave Fleming.
Very well done, that summary.
Whew.
Yeah.
It's going a little faster.
There's a lot to summarize. Hicks, who drew a walk his last time up.
So how you feel? A little better?
Well, I've still got the crud.
Yeah. Dwayne Kuiper had the crud over the weekend.
And if the Giants were playing a little better, that could help. Not that my mood is just directly correlated to the Giants' performance on the field.
Hey, they're set up the greatest comeback of the year right here.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing. 3-1. Hey, I think the walk, that's a start for Hicks. Just try to get on base, do some of the things he was doing. Maybe a sign that easing some of that pressure off. Took a pretty good cut there, foul ball.
Well, the one thing they try and work on with Hicks is to keep your back shoulder a little higher and keep a flatter swing, because he's got a little bit of a uppercut. Now it's great if you do elevate. I mean, it's going to go a long way, but because you kind of come and sweep the strike zone with an angle, you don't stay flat. Well, I mean, hitting the ball and hitting it consistently becomes a hard thing to do. So I think his key is getting a higher back shoulder as he goes into his swing.
That is ball 4.
And yes, you can walk yourself out of a slump. Hey, reminder, download the Giants official app at the ballpark. This is a must-have free app for Giants fans when visiting AT&T Park, because from your mobile device, the app will allow you to move closer to the field by upgrading your seat, help you find the closest Crazy Crab sandwich stand, check in to unlock special offers, and much, much more. So go to sfgiants.com/ballpark app or text ballpark to 31826 to download at the ballpark right now.
Just one of the differences between this ballpark and our home ballpark in San Francisco. We've got the beautiful Dungeness crab, Crazy Crab sandwich, delicious. Their signature item, the mac and cheeseburger. A cheeseburger with a pile of macaroni and cheese, another slice of cheese, and a slice of bacon on top of that on a bun.
Don't forget the mayonnaise. Javi Guerra, the right-hander, starting to heat up now for the White Sox. 93 pitches on the night for Danks. And they do handle him with kid gloves. He got rebuilt in the shoulder a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's been a couple lost years really for him, after he was one of the better lefties in the American League for several seasons. And that meeting probably was just to stall for some time, allow Guerra to continue to get loose. Here comes Blanco, who has walked and scored a run, 0 for 2. It's a really nice park. This is my first time ever here.
Well, it is really growing up nicely.
They've made some improvements, changed the color scheme. They shrunk it, cut down the capacity. And it has a very nice feel inside. I think much better than I was expecting. I think any Giants fan who comes to Chicago, say you're going to come see the Giants and the Cubs, do a little wraparound trip, and even if it's not the Giants here, it'd be worth your time to come to a game here.
No doubt. I 100% agree. Very comfortable, fun. Plus, you get night games here. You get a few at Wrigley Field, but for the most part, it's still a daytime event.
Do a double dip. They still have those. Day game at Wrigley, night game here, same day. That ball chopped foul.
The Miller Lite bullpen. It's a great little bar out there, and they have it going on. It's a pretty lively bunch, especially late in the inning, in the game. About the 6th, 7th inning, that place starts to heat up.
Kind of like the Clevelander.
Yeah.
The nightclub inside of the Marlins Park. That ball is hit hard toward the sports bar, but caught by Vicieda. 1 out.
Time now for our forward right choice, and what better way to start a ball game with 1 out. Hunter Pence comes up, first fastball he sees, does this, spanks it out of here. We're all thinking, all right, the Giants got their hitting shoes on. That was home run number 10 for Hunter Pence. We're going to make it our forward right choice.
Well, he's not going to face Danks. White Sox are going to make a pitching change before Pence comes up for a 4th time. Robin Ventura, White Sox manager, out to take the ball from Danks, who pitched well again here tonight. When it's time for a change, Big Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Business Class, hosted by Jim Kozimor tonight, 9 p.m. And Andy Baggerly will be on the show. Giants insider, lots to talk about. Raiders fullback Marcel Reese. 49ers insider Matt Mayoko, 9 p.m. tonight. White Sox 8, Giants 2, top of the 7th. John Danks, the starter, is out. Javi Guerra, former Dodgers right-hander, is in.
Let's take a look at what he has done in 8 games. No record with a 2.53 ERA, 10 strikeouts in 10 innings, 14 base runners. And when you take your at-bat, you're going to see a pretty healthy fastball. It goes low to mid-90s. He will cut it. He will sink it. Got a big curveball, a slider, and an occasional changeup. Remember, he was a closer with the Dodgers. He had 21 saves in 2011 with the Dodgers.
Pence rips a base hit past Gillespie. First pitch thrown by Guerra. Hicks will stop at second. Hunter Pence, his second hit of the game. He likes the first pitch. Hit a home run on the first pitch in the first inning that he saw. So here comes Posey. You know, this was one of those ballparks where it may not quite be Coors Field, but until a team gets the final out, there's not a lot of comfort even in a lead that's like this one, 8-2. This is a very offense-friendly ballpark. Two on, one out for Posey, who has a base hit and has knocked in a run. Fastball at 90 miles an hour. Posey's the DH tonight. He'll catch tomorrow for Tim Hudson. Chris Sale, the ace of the White Sox, on the mound. Posey, bouncer, and Ramirez slips again. The turn in time, even with the slip, double play. Well, Ramirez, that was pretty remarkable. And the Giants are retired. Alexi Ramirez having problems with his footing. White Sox turned the double play anyway. Two White Sox last of the 7th. 3-4-5 hitters against Yusmeiro Petit, who pitched a 1-2-3 6th inning in relief of Matt Cain. Connor Gillespie tough on Cain, was 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a run scored. Strike one called. Look at the batting average.
Well, you know what? he's finally starting to believe in his abilities, and he has the confidence that he can be a productive big leaguer.
Hit that one fairly well to right field, and not quite well enough. Just short of what would have been his first home run of the year.
And that's the other thing, too. The White Sox is just get on base.
Yep.
Knock people in. We don't care if you hit the ball in the ballpark. I mean, we're halfway into June, and how many guys hitting in the third spot of the lineup don't have a home run?
I would say he's the only one.
Yeah, you're right. But they don't care. It's not who he is. But they recognize that he's an average hitter, or he's a hitter that can hit for average. And he's doing it.
Well, the Giants, when they drafted him, and they picked him high. A supplemental first-round pick. They really believed he was going to be a fine big league hitter. Good curveball for strike one swinging.
Plus, it doesn't hurt to be hitting ahead of Jose Abreu.
No, it's a pretty good spot.
You're going to get some good pitches to hit. One thing that they talk about this guy when you get over here is that he's not only made an impact as a hitter in the lineup, in the league, but he has done so in the clubhouse. He has very quietly become the leader of his team.
Now that's a pretty special thing. First year as a major leaguer, doesn't speak much English. But they just rave about him.
Well, it's turned them around.
Curveball struck him out swinging. Ball got by Sanchez, but Abreu gave himself up. 2 down. Adam Dunn knocked in a run with a base hit in Cain's final inning, where Cain really just sort of looked like he had run out of gas. Giants put the big shift on for the slugger, Adam Dunn. Strike one.
I first saw Adam Dunn when he first came up with the Cincinnati Reds. I knew this guy had power. That was pretty obvious. But what he did when he first came up is he made adjustments with 2 strikes. He'd go the other way. But once he started getting the reputation of the home runs, he lost the left side of the field. And because of that ability to go the other way and hit for an average, and I thought this guy was really a guy who could challenge the home run record. But somewhere along the line, he just got pull happy and he just tries to yank on every pitch. He's made a lot of money doing it, don't get me wrong. And he's going to wind up with over 500 home runs.
He is. He's got better than 450 already.
But I think that had he taken a different route, he could have been a different type of hitter. I think he has the skills within him to be a hitter that hits for a higher average. But it would involve making 2 strike adjustments and using the left side of the field. He just didn't want to do it. When's the last time you saw him hit home run to left field?
I can't remember one. That's his effort to left. Against the shift, Pablo's there. And the inning is over. So Petit has retired 6 in a row since coming in. 8-2 White Sox.
Now for our AT&T U-verse rewind, we go back to 2003, and that's when Rich Aurelian pinch hit a grand slam off Tommaso Marte in the top of the ninth right here at U.S. Cellular Field. Giants were down 4-2 entering the ninth, and they went on to win that ball game 8-4. And that's our AT&T U-verse rewind. And
well, 8-2 the score. It's been a tough night for Matt Cain and the Giants. And the White Sox going back to the bullpen. A new pitcher, the right-hander Putnam, comes in.
Take a look at Zach Putnam and what he has done in 19 games. 2-1 with a 1.42 ERA and just 26 base runners and 25 in the third. I mean, that's a pretty good indicator that the guy's got good stuff, and his strikeout count would back it up. Kind of a sinker slider guy with a split. He's right, you're going to see a lot of ground balls, but he does have a couple ways to strike you out. And I think that's really a commodity. You got a guy that can get a ground ball, that's great, but a lot of those guys, they're going to put the ball in play. There are times in the game you need to pitch for a strikeout. And if you can do that as a sinker ball guy, now you got something.
Well, Pablo Sandoval's had some good swings. That's a good sinker. Something that was sinking. Foul ball, strike one.
That could have been a split. I'd like to see the velocity on that pitch.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Well, that one might have been the split.
But that was big time downward bite.
A couple of hits, batting right-handed. Sandoval to Beckham. One away. It's been a quiet game for Michael Morse. 0 for 3.
One thing about sinker ballers, though, I mean, like Zach Putnam, it's his bread and butter. It's tough on the arm. Sinker is a tough pitch on your arm. Guys break down. They usually break down the shoulder.
So it's kind of remarkable when a guy like Tim Hudson, who we'll see tomorrow on the mound for the Giants, has such a long, distinguished career using that sinker so often.
Yeah, you're right. And when he broke down, it was in the elbow.
Yep.
To throw a sinker, you grip it in a two-seam grip fastball, and then you hold the grip with your thumb underneath your forefinger, and it causes you to pronate earlier in your motion. And in doing so, you get sink. The sinker is kind of a magical pitch because if you're catching it or hitting it, it feels heavier than a four-seam fastball. A lot of people have a hard time grasping that a baseball can weigh more when it weighs 5 1/4 ounce. How can it weigh more when you throw a different pitch? But it does. And it's because of the spin on the ball. Sinker, some guys, you catch them, and it just feels like it's twice the weight of a normal baseball. Sometimes it feels like it's a 15-pound shot put. And it feels that way when you make contact with it, too.
3-1. Morris, that one had some nasty movement.
All the pitches you don't want to get jammed with. The sinker baller is the guy you do not want to get jammed on because of the way of the ball. It will burn your thumbs off your hands. And those bees will stay in your thumbs for a week.
That was pretty close to it.
Plus, a sinker ball is entertaining, especially from a right-handed sinker ball to a right-handed hitter. Good chance if you throw that ball down and in, that guy's going to hit a ball off his foot. And sinker ballers, they like that. That's entertaining.
So entertaining for a pitcher, not that entertaining for the guy who hits the ball off his foot.
No, that's pure pain.
Morse having a battle, and he kind of muscles one to shallow center field. That'll be his first hit of the game.
That is a great at-bat. All right, time now for our Chevron pitching matchup for tomorrow's ball game. It's going to be Chris Hudson taking on the left-hander Chris Sale. And that ought to be a good one, folks. Two guys having great years. How often do you see guys with ERAs in the ones this deep into the season? Well, you got two going at each other tomorrow. You can join us right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area for Giants pregame live at 10:30 tomorrow morning. And then we'll bring you the final game of the short two-game series. And then the Giants hop on a plane and head out to Phoenix.
Those numbers for Chris Sale, remarkable. And he's a guy who, you talk to some scouts, when he's on, even above and beyond Clayton Kershaw, some scouts will say he's got the best stuff in the game.
He's got good stuff, no doubt.
So it will be a challenge, and I would imagine you'll see as many right-handed hitters as possible against Sale for the Giants tomorrow. Dora kind of lunging for that one. Strike two.
Plus, it's rare that you roll into a town and face a team in a 2-game series and you see their 2 best pitchers. And that's what's happened here to the Giants. Sale has been red hot. I mean, this is the 5th consecutive really good start that he's had. In his previous 4 starts going again tonight, his ERA was under 2. And he did damage that ERA a whole lot tonight, giving up 2 runs at 6+.
0-2. Sanchez just flips one to center. Eaton, 2 down.
Angel Pagan not available tonight to play. However, he is available to pinch hit, having some back tightness.
They took a look and there was inflammation, but no, as they described it, no structural damage in his lower back. But he had a problem with it over the weekend, and it's not better. Much better news for Santiago Casillo, who is back on the active roster. When we watched him go down in Colorado, it did not feel like June 17th he was going to be back.
Of next year.
Yeah.
We thought when he went down it was hamstring detached from the bone. I mean, in talking to him, the next day we get to the ballpark and he's walking around and whoa, what happened?
But very good news for the Giants that he's back healthy.
But it's the first time he's ever had a leg injury. And the first time it happens, I mean, you do think it's the end of the world. There are 4 different types of hamstring pull, 4 being the worst, 1 being the least. He had a grade 2. And here he is.
Good pitch to Crawford, strike 2.
That's a big time sink.
Yeah. Now you can see why this guy's been a weapon for the White Sox in their bullpen. Zach Putnam is the 3rd pitcher of the game for the Chicago White Sox. 1-2. Good sinker again. Struck out Crawford. Giants leave Morse at first base. Don't score. 8-2 White Sox.
Player of the game. We go back to the 5th inning, and The young Viciedo comes up with his 6th home run of the year. It was a big blast. It's one of 2 hits that he's had in 3 plate appearances. He scored a couple, knocked in 3. He is our Honda player of the game.
He had 4 hits all month before tonight. So really, really hurting for a hit. And tonight he has made an impact. Shortstop Ramirez taking ball 1 from Yusmeiro Petit. He's going to try to pitch this 8th inning and just save the rest of the Giants bullpen. Game went 5. Petit has set down 6 in a row since entering the game. That blue pit for Ramirez, Mike, I thought was a big play.
Yeah,
game.
it was. Kane had made a good pitch, got him to bloop the ball. You're thinking, all right, I'm going to get it out. And you're looking out, and it's in no man's land out there in the outfield. And that is definitely something that takes its toll on the mind of a pitcher when you're struggling, too. How about those Kansas City Royals, by the way?
Amazing.
They are now in first place in the American League Central.
They beat the Tigers in Detroit 11-4. They've won 9 in a row.
They torched Verlander last night. They torched Scherzer tonight.
Who else you got? Bring them on.
Wow. In Detroit.
10 earned runs for Scherzer in 4 innings.
Should have took the deal.
Turned down a huge contract offer. Ramirez just shallow left, sort of in no man's land again. This time, though, Crawford will get there.
I'm kidding about should have took the deal. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's got a lot of faith in himself. But it was definitely a risk. It was $140 million, reportedly.
That's a lot of meal money, right?
That is a lot of cash. Here's Viciedo. We were just talking about him as the player of the night. The 2-run homer was really the backbreaker in the 5th against Kane. Had another hit earlier and scored twice.
Daniel Webb, the right-hander for the Sox, getting greased up.
So we'll see him in the 9th. Last chance for the Giants. Viciedo looking for home run number 2. Didn't get it. Curveball for a ball. I'll give Petit credit tonight. He's done a nice job. Trying to get a couple more outs here, but 7 in a row since coming into this game. Two and two.
I always look at the guys who did well when they got into heat or a warmer environment getting away from San Francisco and pitch well, like we're watching tonight with Petit. I think for the longest time, Santiago Casilla was a guy who was much more comfortable in a warm environment than he was in the Bay Area. But I can't say that anymore. He's adapted nicely. But it takes a while to learn how to pitch in Northern California.
Petit's had plenty of good moments at home, but it's a very different thing. Coming to Chicago, coming to St. Louis, to Atlanta. Another pitch, Viciedo. Vicious cut there, foul ball. And the Dodgers are at home tonight against the Rockies. They are scoreless, underway now in LA. Zach Greinke pitching for the Dodgers. Viciedo hanging in there. So if the Giants lose this game, and they're 3 outs from losing, and the Dodgers were to win, they'd be 5 back. And the Giants still have a nice lead. They still have the best record in the big leagues, but this has become a very tough stretch for the Giants. Finally, he got Viciedo to swing and miss on that curveball, and he struck him out.
It's all about how you're playing. It's all about how much confidence, how much strength, how much energy your team has. I mean, that's what determines streaks. When you get into a rough streak, you look at it as to what's causing it. Is there a couple, 2, 3 guys who are not playing at 100% because they've got small injuries that they're playing around?
Ball 1-2 De Aza.
That's why you lose a game in comeback fashion at home, like the Giants lost 3 over the weekend with the Rockies. That type of a weekend takes its toll on a bunch of guys mentally.
Yeah.
That little sense of invincibility is gone, and you have to go back and you have to rekindle it.
Well, I think that's a good point. I mean, if the Giants lose this game, it would be 7 of 8 since the National Series started. But in a way, that's kind of misleading because the Giants should have won all 3 of those games against the Rockies. Should have won them all.
Yeah, you can't say they're not hitting. They scored a lot of runs over the weekend.
Yeah.
They haven't hit tonight in this ballpark, but they've always been a notoriously slow ball club coming off an off day offensively. That's happened tonight. Plus, John Danks had a whole lot to say about it too. He pitched well. But it's important, especially this time of year, that you just erase the bad, concentrate on the good, get ready for the next day, and go get them. I mean, that's what you do. And if you get going too well, I mean, you can't ride that wave of success. That's as dangerous as a slump. You just have to maintain an even mind. You're a worker. You're going to work your way out of it. If you're hot, you try and sustain it. If you're not, try and get back to it. It's that simple.
2-2 to De Aza, and he pops it up. Crawford and Blanco, it's the shortstop for the 3rd out. 3 perfect innings for Yusmeiro Petit out of the Giants bullpen. Last chance for the Giants when we come back. 8-2 Sox.
Back morning show on KNBR tomorrow morning when Kipe will be talking about the game with Bertha Back on KNBR 680, the sports leader. Here we are at the top of the 9th, 8-2 White Sox. New pitcher now for the White Sox when it's time for a change. Speedy oil change and auto service. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Daniel Webb in for the 25th time. He is the setup man for the White Sox. Needs an inning of work. Hard thrower. Did the high 90s with the fastball, slider, changeup. And he can run it up there. Big guy, 6'3", 215 pounds. From Paducah, Kentucky. You know where Paducah is, right?
He's got to be related to Brandon Webb, doesn't he? Wasn't Brandon Webb from Paducah, Kentucky? Juan Perez hits a foul out of play.
Was he?
He was from Kentucky.
Paducah?
Ashland. I just pulled that right out of my head.
I'm impressed. You Stanford guys, man. You got stuff bouncing around between your ears. It's amazing.
I mean, how many baseball Webbs are in the state of Kentucky?
There's the World Wide Web. There's Daniel Webb.
Perez to third. Gillespie got to hurry and just in time. 0 for 4 tonight for Juan Perez. Well, maybe he's not related to Brandon Webb. There goes that.
Hey, we're all related.
Guys in our truck telling me that Ashland and Paducah are really right around the corner from one another, just about 400 miles almost away. So yeah, it's possible they're not related. They put up personal info on the White Sox players up on the big video board here.
Yes.
And but so they've transitioned to the baseball stuff, but the walk-up song choices are often up there. Daniel Webb's was something like the redneck anthem.
Really?
He's embracing the whole stereotype.
He's got a nice sink on that changeup.
Well, good arm, as you said. Now, Brandon Hicks has drawn 2 walks in this game, and that's a positive for the Giants here tonight. And tonight without a whole lot of positive. Hits that one hard to third. 2 down. Well, I know it's little consolation when your batting average just keeps sinking, but I think Hicks can be a little more pleased with his plate appearances today.
Oh, I agree 100%. He has definitely found some good things to build upon. I mean, 2 walks and 4 at bats, and he hit the ball hard the other 2 times.
So the Giants are down to their final out. Gregor Blanco trying to keep the game going. 8-2 White Sox. Oh, way inside at 98 miles an hour.
With sink.
Ooh.
There should not be anything legal about throwing a pitch at 98 that has sink to it. But traditionally, you don't see that type of velocity with sinkers. And he's got to be a lot of fun to catch right now.
Oh. Tyler Flowers is talking to the umpire.
I think he's saying, listen, I'll give you the glove, I'll be the umpire, and you be the catcher. We'll finish this one out.
Yeah. Two-0 to Blanco. Up and away. That might have just been the regular fastball. And it's 3-0. Well, a walk would give Hunter Pence another crack at it. Pence has 2 hits, including a home run. Ball 4. So here comes Pence. Pence got the Giants off to such a good start. He was the second hitter of the game. And he took the starter John Danks deep on the first pitch he saw tonight.
Well, your goal right now is to try and get Ronald Belisario up, the closer for the White Sox. That's your goal. That's your first one.
You got to get a few more runners on.
I think you try and get him in the game. And then you try and beat him. Now, I know they have 1 out left, 3 strikes left, but it's baseball.
You got to get the final out.
There's no clock in baseball.
There's no taking a knee. Strike 1. Two down in the ninth. Pence, bouncer toward first. Nice pickup. Backhand style by Abreu, and the game is over. The White Sox have taken the first game of this 2-game series by the final score of 8-2.
Well, John Danks just had a great changeup tonight. It was a little bit too much for the Giants. And Matt Cain, who started this game with a pretty good rhythm, all of a sudden the third inning, it just left him with 2 outs, and he could not regain it. And that was the difference in this ball game.
So the Giants are going to have to try to get it done against Chris Sale, one of the best in the American League, tomorrow afternoon to get a split of this series. Final score, White Sox 8, Giants 2. Esurance Giants post-game live is coming up, but first let's go to the Sportsnet Central studio.